One of those things that I love to eat in a restaurant, and sometimes you try to make it at home and it's not quite as good, Chinese food, right? I mean, it's always way better in the restaurant. But I'm gonna show you a couple tricks to make a really cool stir fry at home. What's great about stir fry is you can use whatever you want. I've chosen some of my favorite vegetables: broccoli, green beans, mushrooms, onions, water chestnuts, things like that. You can use whatever you want. You can throw some asparagus in there. So what I've done is I've heated up my wok. Now there's a couple rules to stir fry. Number one, you want to get a nice wok. If you don't have a wok, you can use a big saute pan, right? Get it nice and hot. You want to use a neutral oil. That's really important too. Something like a vegetable oil, a canola oil, a soybean oil. If you want to use a peanut oil and get some heavy peanut flavor in there, you can. You just want to be careful, especially if you're using a wok, because it will impart some of that flavor into your wok and kind of flavor it. Olive oils are not good to use for stir fry. They don't have a high smoke point, and so they're really not the ideal oil to use for stir fry. But what I've gone ahead and done is I've heated up my wok. I added in my aromatics some fresh ginger and garlic, get that nice and fragrant in there. Then I throw in my vegetables. And now you always want to cook your vegetables and whatever you're doing extra separately. So I chose to do a tofu stir fry. Now again, we talk about tofu. There's all these myths about tofu. Is it bad for you? Does it make men grow boobs? That's all not a thing, right? You can look it up. Tofu is actually a great source of protein. Again, it's a great thing to cook with because it is a blank slate. It will impart whatever flavors you give it. So what I did was ahead of time, I got some extra firm tofu. Now what you want to do, you want to make sure you drain this, and you do want to press it. Really easy to do. You can take your tofu, you can put it on paper towel, put a plate over it, put some heavy cans on it. They do make tofu presses you can buy. You don't have to buy them. Really simple, about 15-20 minutes. You want to get as much moisture out of that tofu as you can. So I take my tofu and I cube it up into little cubes. You can cut it however you want, but the smaller kind of the better. You want to be able to get a nice crust on the outside. I've seasoned it with some seasonings, herbs and seasonings, and then some cornstarch. And then you get a hot wok or saute pan and you crisp it up nice and crispy. And then I put that aside. So now what I'm going to do is I'm toward the end of my stir fry here. My vegetables are getting nice and cooked. I made a stir fry sauce. This is another key to making great stir fry. You can use whatever you want. I use a little soy sauce, or I love tamari, hoisin sauce. I love the flavor of this. Some vegetable broth, a little rice wine vinegar, some red chili pepper flakes. Really, you can make whatever you want. A little brown sugar for sweetness. And what I've done is added some cornstarch. Now, what the cornstarch is going to do is that's super important. It is going to act as a thickening agent, and that's what gives restaurant stir fry such a great flavor profile and great consistency. So I'm going to add my sauce in here. And there's a cool thing called long way when you add your sauce to a stir fry. You want to do it over the back of your spatula or around the edge, so that you're not cooling down the center of your wok. You want to keep that center of that wok nice and hot. It's another stir fry trick. So once I've added my sauce in here, we're going to get this nice and cooked. And then once this starts to thicken up, I'm going to add in my crispy tofu. We're going to mix this all together, and it's so good. Again, you get a lot of that umami flavor. One of the things also about a lot of cuisines, Asian cuisine especially, they use a lot of fish sauces, Worcestershire sauces. If you are truly plant-based, be careful of Worcestershire sauce. 99.9% of all Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire, however you want to say it, Worcester sauce, as the Brits say, is going to contain anchovy paste or fish sauce. So if you are strictly plant-based, you want to be careful of that. They do make plant-based options. Again, with all these, this hoisin I find is really nice. It's got a lot of really great umami and no animal product whatsoever, which is great. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting my sauce is thickening up here, and now I'm going to add in my crispy tofu cubes. Again, I've already prepared these, right? I've already crisped those up in a pan, and I'm just going to mix this all together. Oh yeah, look at it smells so good. I wish you could smell this. Someday they're gonna have that, right? Smell-o-vision where you can smell through the camera. Be great. So I'm gonna mix this all together. All my vegetables. Again, you can use whatever vegetables you'd like. And I do have some prepared rice over here. You can cook your own rice, no problem. It's really easy to do. If you have a rice cooker at home, you can use that. You can boil the rice, let it sit. I like to use the bagged rice. It's organic, it's great, it's super easy. With all this other stuff going on, sometimes you just want to be able to pop this in and you get perfectly cooked rice in about 90 seconds. So now that we are getting this nice and finished, we are going to plate this. Oh, Oh, it smells so good. So that tofu is going to take on all of that flavor from that sauce. It's going to caramelize up. It's getting nice and thick in here. So I'm getting all those great flavors, all of that great texture. You're going to see that shine. You want to see that kind of glazy shine from your vegetables and your tofu. And here we go. Crispy tofu and vegetables over rice. Look at that. It's so good, and it's all healthy. It's all natural, all vegetable based. And remember, for those of you that know, plant-based is the way to go.